And with that, ladies and gentlemen, Season 4, Core 1 of ReZero is officially over. And wow, what an amazing first half of the season this has been. We've had some of the highest consecutive episode ratings ever achieved in its entire run. Simply magic. I'm Big Time Weeb Dad, and I'm going to go ahead and review the first half of ReZero Season 4. Before we get into the actual review, I do want to kind of break down what happened in this first half of Season 4. If you don't want to listen to that, you can go ahead and skip to this timestamp where I go ahead and give my thoughts on the season altogether. Anyways, let's get into it. The first half of Season 4 started where Season 3 left off. Subaru and the group were victorious in defeating the 3 Sin Archbishops and were on their way to the Pleiades Watchtower, with the hopes of speaking to a ancient sage in order to find answers for Rem's coma/memory erasure, as well as Julius's name erasure. And of course, we had the late reveal that Anastasia was playing host to, spoiler alert, an artificial spirit named Echidna. Apparently not that Echidna though, go figure. And what a first half it was. This season really did not waste any time before reminding us exactly who ReZero is. And it was a beautifully brutal reminder of the horrors of Return to Death's ability as Subaru and his allies waged across the desert towards the Pleiades Watchtower, along the way dodging mob beasts and returning from death numerous times, only for Subaru to immediately be sniped out in one of the first standout moments of the season. The season continues as Subaru is able to figure out how to overcome the various killing blows, only for him and his companions to be swallowed up and sent to an underground cavern. Of course, in this cavern, there is nowhere to go but forward, and after some time, we are treated to yet another brutal early season treat from ReZero Season 4, with the miasma causing Subaru to lose his mind and kill everyone around him. As is the course though, we move forward and we make our way towards the Pleiades Watchtower, where we are reunited with the rest of the gang and are formally introduced to one of the best girl contenders of the season, Shala, a young woman in appearance who is a sage apprentice that has been waiting hundreds of years for Subaru. I mean, her master's return. I know I said Shala was best girl contender, but really, there is truly only one best girl this season. Shout out to Patricia. From there, we get the information that this is going to be partially a trial season. With each ascending floor, there will be a new test. The first test, of course, is easy enough and the gang gains access to the Pleiades library, a library with perpetual inventory. That inventory being the books of the dead. What are the books of the dead? Well, I'm glad you asked. When a person dies, their book appears in the library. It contains snippets of their life story as well as their death tale. That part is important for later. Only catch so far is that the only people with access to reading the books are Subaru and Julius. The second test is a little more fun, with the gang finding themselves transported to a field being guarded by the man, the myth, the legend, the original sword saint, Reed Astria, or at least a portion of his soul anyways. From there, it's a fight to bypass Reed, with the only member of the Suba gang being able to outwit the perverted stick swinger, being Emilia. Before we go any further, guys, I know this is annoying, but I do have to give you my spiel. If you're liking what you are seeing so far, please feel free to leave a like. And if you really like it, we would really appreciate if you could subscribe. We are trying to grow the channel, and every little bit helps. Thank you. You see, and here's where things get interesting. Once the Suba gang return to the tower and lick their wounds from their initial Reed fight, we're given the real treat of Season 4. You see, the fearless knight, the one to forge ahead for better or for worse, Subaru Natsuki, reveals he's lost his memories.
What did he say?
Episode 8 through 11 are the direct consequence of this revelation, and when I tell you this season has produced some of the most intense and awe-inspiring moments of the anime so far, it is no lie. We are treated to essentially a Season 1 Subaru with all of his insecurities and paranoias and fears being trapped in a Season 4 setting, where he now has the burden of holding everyone's trust and being looked at as a leader, even if he himself can't trust anyone. Seeing Subaru struggle with his sanity as he realizes someone is trying to kill him over and over and over again, and seeing what he's willing to do to solve that mystery, it's simply bone-chilling. From the ultra graphic push that plummets Subaru to his death over and over again, to the meme itself, the aura monster scene of Subaru ascending the inner stairs of the Pleiades watchtower repeating his kill mantra, only for us to witness Subaru lose his ever-loving shit as he sees the dead bodies of his Suba gang littered all around the tower. This season has truly been a masterclass of building tension and sucking you into this world and getting you lost in the paranoia of its main character. It has been an amazing anime. Core 1 finishes with a really high of Subaru realizing that he is being possessed by someone or something, and in turn has killed his fellow Suba gang members. And of course, the fallout of that realization. If you can't tell, the first half of season 4 is just incredible. Not only is it home to some of the best writing we've had in a long time, but as well as some of the hardest hitting emotional beats. On top of everything else, this season has blessed us with some of the most exceptional voice acting that the Japanese cast has given us so far, and that cannot go unsaid. In particular, I want to shout out Subaru's Japanese voice actor for his just pure talent this season. He brought so much to the table with his abilities and really made Season 4 Core 1 enjoyable for me to watch and listen to. He was able to bring an aura of creepiness and paranoia to Subaru. It really immersed me in this fantasy world of ReZero this season. In fact, it was his ability that sold the aura monster scene for me in a way that was kind of unexpected. It was definitely different from the light novels, but when you took in all the ingredients of the show, it was really firing on all cylinders. We had amazing voice acting, amazing direction, and just a vibe that allowed this aura monster scene to flourish, even if it was different than what you were expecting. He even nailed his co-star's speaking mannerisms perfectly, selling a story within a story without revealing too much information. Along with amazing voice acting this season, the direction was so on point, it has genuinely been so hard for me to try to pinpoint any weak point in the season. If I absolutely had to bring something up for the sake of being partial and fair, there was a lot of skipped or changed content this season. Now wait, nothing major, I promise. But as someone who enjoys the light novels, it felt like they skipped or changed quite a bit in order to keep the pace of the anime. Which, to be fair, once the story gets going this season, it's a non-stop roller coaster of fuck. Whereas in the light novel, we have more breathing room. In fact, one of the weirdest changes for me, and I've already harped on this multiple times, but there's a sequence where Subaru has returned to death a few times without his memories, and he's basically lost hope. He makes his way out of the Pleiades watchtower with the aim of being eaten alive by a mob beast. The only problem is his instincts kick in, and in a flicker of a second, he's able to show us that there is some of that Subaru that we've grown to love over the years still inside. In the anime, he kind of just flails around a little bit until he's sucked back into the underground cavern. Speaking of the underground cavern, now I said it's been hard to find something to nitpick about this season, but if I were to give my biggest gripe, it would be this underground cavern sequence. In the light novel, Subaru passes through 5 doors. 5. This is really important because in the anime, he only goes through 3. And it's to the point where the voice actor makes it a thing to point out that he's only going through 3 doors. Big time weeb dad. That doesn't sound like a big deal. In fact, that sounds like they're just saving time. Well, I would say, fuck off. No, the whole reason this bothers me is because it's basically a midpoint for this Core 1, and the first real hint that we're given that something is seriously wrong with Subaru, and in fact, something has changed within him. No spoilers though. And I feel like in the anime, we're kind of getting robbed of that revelation. But like I said, ultimately I know this is a very nitpicky thing, and overall, I loved this season so much. They did such an amazing job depicting the first half of Arc 6, and above all else, the first core of Season 4, to the point that it has truly restored my love of the series. Don't LARP me. Don't LARP me. Calm down. Calm down. Let me explain myself. You see, about halfway through Season 3, I kind of fell out of love. Maybe fell out of love is a little harsh. I definitely lost my spark for the story. It wasn't that it was bad, it just wasn't what I wanted out of the story at that time. And here, in the first half of season 4, I can say I've gotten my spark back. And in fact, if you somehow haven't yet, I highly recommend you watch this anime. I think there's very few people who would disagree with me when I say it has definitely been a special standout for this crop of seasonal anime, and that it's a great show and a really great and special season. With all that being said, thank you for listening. These have been my thoughts. This is more of a rant than a review, I guess, but hey, it is what it is. And I am Big Time Weeb Dad, and I am out.